all yours.
Hello and welcome. I've missed you. As instead of our regular quarterly meeting, which we were supposed to have at the end of March, we decided to do a quarterly update because that meeting was interrupted by events beyond our control. So I have missed talking to you. I've missed seeing you in the halls. I do see people in the halls, but I'm not sure who they are sometimes. So my purpose today would be to bring you up to date on the Residents Association, the WRA. And then we're lucky today to be joined by Buzzy Woodworth, who's the chair of the Westminster Board of Directors, and by our executive director, Chuck Borst. And they'll have words for you after my presentation. But I want to be sure and thank Chuck and his team. I know how happy we all are to be here safe and with the friendly and dedicated staff, and to be so safe and to be so well fed, especially well fed. I have a special welcome to any new residents who may be watching. I thought I might tell you a little bit about the Residents Association and what it does, in case you haven't been around long enough to have heard this presentation. But the Residents Association is an organization for the representation of Westminster residents in the affairs of the community. And all Westminster residents are members, voting members of the association, and it's governed by an executive committee. And I'm the president of the Residents Association and of the executive committee, and we have officers, 4 officers and 6 members. But these are, the executive committee is responsible for the affairs of the Residents Association. It has nothing to do, no authority, responsibility for the management of Westminster itself. And that's the job of volunteer directors on the Westminster Board of Directors. But three of us on the executive committee are voting members of the Board of Directors. So what do we do? Well, we're a conduit for communication between management and the residents, and we do that through the executive committee meetings and through the different committees. We have a building and grounds committee that meets with the staff. We have a food committee, which is a very popular committee. We have and we have an activities committee that meets with Ruth and is a sounding board and a suggestion box for her. We play a major role in the orientation of new residents. So we have a welcoming committee that has a quarterly or bi-monthly welcoming receptions for new residents. The committee is responsible for weekly dinners with new residents, and we have floor hosts on each floor of both buildings who are responsible for communicating with new residents and helping them get oriented. So how are our activities funded? Well, we get money from Hidden Treasures, and we get money from our casino night, and the majority of the money that we raise goes to the Westminster Friendship Fund and to the Employee Scholarship Fund.
Sorry, Boyd, sorry to interrupt. Did you want to show your slides?
I'm going to get to them in just a minute. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have, it might have been better to put this on the slide, but I didn't do it. And we pay for the printing of the banner. We buy books for the library. We support worship programs, and occasionally we pay for items of our common use that aren't in the Westminster budget. We participated in some improvements in Harrisville Halls last year. one of our major activities is the Resident Appreciation Fund every fall, when we raise money from residents to make a holiday grant to all the residents, Westminster employees. So those are basically our activities. Let me introduce the officers and committee chairs to you at this time, if I could. And let's see. And click share. And can you see that screen, Chuck? I think you.
Yes, we can.
All right. So here are the officers for 2020 who were elected at the annual meeting last December. Don't go down. I'm the president. That's a particularly good picture of me, I think, one of the better ones. Jerry Smith is the vice president. Mary Kevorkian is the secretary, and Mary Bowles is the treasurer. At our last executive committee meeting, we decided to add 2 positions, an assistant secretary and an assistant treasurer. There'll be there'll be assisting the treasurer and secretary in their duties and stepping in for them when they're not available. They won't be voting members of the board. And Sharon Verlander has consented to be assistant treasurer, and Lori Humphreys has consented to be assistant secretary. Now looking at the committee chairs, because most of the work, I should mention before I go on that there were other members on the executive committee besides the officers. There's 6 of them: Joe Kirk, Cynthia Leach, Sheldon Lloyd, Camille Miller, Mike Roach, and Max Sherman. And Sheldon, Max, and I are also on the board of directors. So the committee chairs, briefly. Here is Beverly Shivers, who is chair of the activities committee. Let's see if I can't. I guess I'm going to have to get this down. Maybe. Apologize for that. Judy Linfors is chair of the Arbor Committee. Cynthia Leach of Building and Grounds. Bobby Collins of the Food Committee. I wonder if I could get rid of that sound, Chuck. I don't know, without turning my mic off. The Forum Committee brings speakers to Westminster monthly. Mary Kevorkian and Max Sherman are that committee. Hidden Treasures Committee is chaired by Camille Miller, and they're eager to get back to work as soon as we're opened up. The Hospitality Committee, Camille and Carol Dickerson, their committee you see at social hours and at other events. The Bartenders Guild is part of that committee. The Information Technology Committee, Sheldon Lloyd is chair of that, and he's responsible for training sessions and particularly for the Technology Saturday, where people have a chance to get their questions answered about their devices. Helen Spear is the librarian, and I think we all know what a good job she and her committee do with our library, which is a jewel. The Interfaith Committee, Judy Skaggs is the chair of it, and responsible for finding opportunities for Westminster residents to participate in interfaith activities around the Austin community. Hopefully those will be resumed soon. And she also has oversight of the relationship between the Residents Association and the various faith group activities that go on here at Westminster. Vince Bowe, Judy and Roger Ireson are the co-chairs of the Welcoming Committee, with responsibility for the receptions for new residents, for the floor hosts, and for the weekly Get Acquainted dinners.
down,
And Kathy Kelly is the chair of the Wellness Committee, and she, in her committee, and worked with Rachel Gill on the development of programs for the residents in the wellness area. So those are our committees. Mary Bowles would like to have been here today to talk about the financial statements, but she took a tumble and is not with us anymore. She's not able to be here. She's certainly with us, but Mary is doing very well. She'll be back on her feet soon, I'm sure. She always told an accounting joke, so I felt it was important to put one in, and there it is.
down,
Briefly looking at the finances for Westminster Residents Association since the first of the year. We started the year with, in our operating account, a balance of $13,955, and we've received $6,000 from casino night. It's hard to believe that that was only 12 weeks ago. It seems like an eternity, but it was a success again this year. And our disbursements so far, the major ones, as I mentioned earlier, were for the Friendship Fund and for the Employee Scholarship Fund, and we donated $3,000 to the Friendship Fund and $4,000 to the Scholarship Fund. We supported, as I say, we support the library and the banner, other activities of the committees. To date, we spent $980, and we had money that had been donated earlier for the lighting for the art displays in the hall outside the bistro, and so that money was spent this quarter. So we spent a total of $9,580 since January 1, and that leaves us a balance in our operating account of $10,239. And hopefully Hidden Treasures will be back in business sometime later this year, and will contribute to our income. If you look on our assets, in addition to the operating account, we have CDs in the amount of $37,500 with Frost Bank, and we have in our RAF account, we have a balance of $11,532. The Resident Appreciation Fund campaign last Christmas was a big success. We raised over $180,000, and that was all dispersed to the employees. Our practice is to disperse all the money we receive. Some money came in late. We started with some balance, and so we have $11,000 to jumpstart the campaign for next year. So that is the report on the finances of the association. Then I would like to say a word about a new project of the Residents Association. We're the publishers of a writer's journal. It's an opportunity or a forum for Westminster residents to display their writing, either poetry, prose, a lot of memoirs, some short fiction. 33 residents participated in the Writer's Journal, its initial edition, which will be coming out around May 11th and will be available for sale in the Little Store. And the price of the volume is $15. There's a large print edition which will be priced at $17.50. The editorial board has done a remarkable job putting this journal together, and a lot of credit goes to them, particularly to Mike Roach, who's the chair of the editorial board. And I think you'll be very pleased when you see the book, and I hope you will support the activity by buying one. So that concludes my report. And so at this time, I'd like to ask the chair of the Westminster Board of Directors, Buzzy Woodworth, if he would like to say a few words. Buzzy?
Yes. Thank you, Boyd. Can you hear me? Am I
Yes, sir.
audible to you? Everything's coming through as it should be?
I believe so.
Thanks for the opportunity. So a brief word on me. I'm Buzzy Woodworth. That's B-U-Z-Z-Y. That's not my given name. My given name is James. Buzzy is a nickname. I grew up in Austin, attended Highland Park Elementary, Lamar Junior High, Callum High School, University of Texas. I've been rushed into service as chairman a little early due to the fact that Dr. David Fowler was forced to resign from the board due to some health reasons. And he is sorely missed, and just a word of thank you to him from me and the board, of course, because he was a good member, and he will be greatly missed. But I'm glad to fill in, and I will be the chair for probably something on the order of a year. I've been assistant chair for a few months. Interim chair for a few months. I guess this might be a good chance to give you a quick note on the board and how it works since we're on screen here. I'll take a moment to just let you know about the board. There are 3 resident board members and 9 members from the community. The resident board members are Max Sherman, Sheldon Lloyd, and Boyd Taylor. The other members are all experienced either businessmen, University of Texas educators, attorneys, accountants, various business people with long time service to the community and have done good things in the community at large. There's attorneys involved also. The board provides guidance and oversight to the executive director and LCS, which is the company that provides Westminster with its executive director and the health service manager. A quick word on LCS, which is Life Care Services. They operate out of Des Moines, Iowa. They have any number of facilities throughout the United States, and they provide us with data and guidance and things in general, in addition to, of course, the executive director, Chuck Borst, and Cassie over in the healthcare. LCS also provides guidance with regard to operations, maintenance, expansion, and their facilities that are, I think, number in the 40s. Chuck can correct me on that. There's throughout the United States. This gives us information that on how to operate Westminster that we would otherwise not have. That being said, it is your board of directors that governs and oversees all the major decisions. However, it should be noted that the daily operation, maintenance, and forward planning are provided by the executive director and his staff. The vast majority of the efficiency, food quality, maintenance, and health management that all of you enjoy at Westminster are the result of a strong executive director and experienced management. That gives you a little oversight on how the board works. That may be redundant to many of you. My parents both lived at Westminster Manor for in excess of 15 years, and I must admit I was not totally familiar with how the whole thing worked. And so that may be of benefit to some of you who are not familiar with that, how the management system works. And you're probably also familiar with Greg Williams, who is a employee of LCS and provides marketing and additional help to the board and to Chuck. So I would like to say that I recognize, all the residents of Westminster Manor for their tenacity in dealing with COVID-19. The duration of the sequestering has extended longer than anyone would have imagined. And it, of course, continues. Your willingness and helpfulness in following the guidelines set up by the executive director is greatly appreciated. As I hope you are aware, the safety, health, and comfort of Westminster residents remains the top priority of your board of directors and all of the staff that support you daily. And then, of course, none of that I just mentioned is even possible without saying a few things about Chuck and his staff, who I and of course all of the board are tremendously pleased with the routine and safeguards that were quickly put in place by the executive director and his administrative staff. And I might add, this is greatly facilitated by the staff who are working under stressful conditions to provide all Westminster citizens with as little inconvenience and as much stability as possible. These are difficult times. I know everyone misses seeing their family and their loved ones and getting out. I would reiterate that this is all for the benefit of your citizens and you as Westminster citizens, and we hope that you can bear with us, continue to help us as much as you have in the past. And I would add that it's an honor to be your chairman, and this is not an obligation or a duty. It's really a pleasure, and I've been on the board for probably in excess of 6 years, and any individual member can serve as many as 12 years and then will resign. But again, I thank all of you for listening to me. I hope you continue to do well. And thank you, Boyd, for the opportunity to speak this morning. And I'll pass it over to you. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Bezewicz. I know the residents are really happy to hear from you, and we appreciate your remarks. And stay well. Chuck, do you have, what would you like to add?
I have a few slides. Thank you for letting me speak today. As everybody knows, I've been doing my chats pretty regularly, so you've been able to see those. I'll share my screen. So hopefully you can see my presentation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Apologize, you can't see me. I have to tell you, residents, I really do appreciate your sense of humor. You all continue to send me lots of funny material to include in my chats. These are a few of those items. Keep them coming. So appreciate the letters and notes that you've been sending me. This is submitted from one of our residents. The world is turned upside down. Old folks are sneaking out of the house and their kids are yelling at them to stay indoors. You think it's bad now. In 20 years, our country will be run by people homeschooled by day drinkers. Does anyone know if we can take showers yet, or should we just keep washing our hands? So, and this was a cartoon sent to me by one of our residents, and the run on toilet paper is on everybody's mind. So, think about food too. So we're all doing that. Since this all began, March 9th, we started tracking all of our illnesses. We've had a total of 23 people, residents, under investigation. 22 have been tested. 2 positives were confirmed a while back. And thankfully, they've all recovered fully and had mild symptoms. And then with regard to associates, we've had 18 people under investigation and 14 tested. Only one of those was positive, and they're fully recovered and back to health. So glad to hear about that. We have no active cases of COVID-19 at this time. All precautions and restrictions remain in place, so please do not visit, do not have visitors. No visitors at all to the campus unless end of life or resident wellness is affected. And I sent out a new notice today because we're having some issues with that. We really need to maintain those restrictions. I'm sending out a letter with regard to reopening America. I know that's on everyone's mind, but we were the first to close and we will be the last to reopen. We will reduce restrictions as we're able as we continue to fight this pandemic and do well. The more cooperative you are and the better our results, the more quickly we'll be able to release the restrictions or at least reduce them. So please keep that in mind. Lots of projects still going on. Everybody's aware we're working on the Preston Apartments interior windows. We have a small crew of Dingwall remodelers working. There's 4 people, and we're working in advance by telling the residents scheduling with the residents so that we're not disrupting their days. And they are wearing personal protective equipment as well. Carlisle project, get lots of questions about it. It is still in the horizon. We are about a month delayed because of COVID. We believe mostly we're pricing it with the contractor right now. 100% charter members are still on board and ready to move in. We are scheduling a virtual groundbreaking on May the 27th, and construction should start at the end of June if everything continues on track, which it seems to be. And we'll have some resident events, maybe virtual events, and I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation next week on the expansion. We just resealed the parking lot around the Preston. The lobby and dining room work on the Preston continue. We're working on the carpet replacement as well. We're being finalized with the selections, and then we'll be ordering that. The furniture for the lobby has been ordered, but due to COVID, there's a 10 to 12 week lead time. So we'll have to put up with our old furniture for now, but that's okay. We're patient people. Studio 65 is engaged in the selection of the interior carpet on the Preston that needs to be replaced. We're trying to achieve some cost savings by using the same carpet that we're going to be employing in the Carlisle. We also will be doing some accent wall painting to help residents find their way on each floor. That's been a desire for a number of years, and we'll be doing that over the next several months with our own in-house crews. We did remove the 3 pecan trees finally. We replaced them with 2 red oak trees in the Preston courtyard. I had some questions recently about why they weren't planted in the same place as the pecan trees, and that is because the root system is established there, and we could not plant them in the exact same location as the pecan trees. They needed to be moved over just a little bit, so we did that. Take time to enjoy the beautiful courtyards and the Oaks canopy in front of the Preston. All of those are really beautiful areas. I've seen a lot of residents enjoying them. So take time to do that. They're all in bloom and looking wonderful right now. This is the marketing entrance that we've been talking about. This project has started. It's kind of fun to watch if you're on that side of the building. So keep an eye out for that project. It should be finished in about 6 weeks. When it is finished, we'll have easier access on and off of Jackson Avenue. So that if there is stacking at the stoplight that's being installed at the corner of Bull Creek and Jackson, we'll still be able to get in and out of the garage. I showed this in my last chat, but just an idea of what the fence will look like around the Carlisle construction site. You can see it here, located on the north end of the campus where our current parking lot is located. We'll be moving all of our vehicles, associate vehicles, and contractors off site to the off-site parking that should be finished at the end of June, just in time for the construction to begin. We will be maintaining the driveway all the way around the Preston and along the Windsor. 2 lanes along the Windsor. We will maintain the visitor parking lot under Harrisville Hall. You'll notice already that there are white construction trailers that are installed on the west side, on the west side of the Windsor building. There's 2 construction trailers there, and they're working on putting power to those right now. Just an idea of what the campus will look like after the Carlisle expansion. This is the Carlisle building built on the north end of our campus, and I'll do a presentation on this next Wednesday. This is just a view of what the Carlisle will look like in our Windsor courtyard, which is being done. And I wanted to show you now, and I'll talk about it more in my presentation next week, but the phase 1 has changed slightly. Originally, we were going to do the renovation to the bistro area in phase 2, but we've tried to bring as much value to this expansion and this renovation as possible to the residents as quickly as possible. So we pushed all of this renovation to the first phase. So it'll be built the same time that the Windsor Tower is built, and all of those amenities will come online in about 13 months. So the residents will begin to be able to utilize those areas early on in the project, even before the Carlisle is finished. The Carlisle takes 27 months. And I'll talk more about that in my chat next Wednesday at 2 p.m. So again, I want to thank everybody for cooperating with all the restrictions and precautions in place. Please stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for cooperating and continuing to cooperate with the restrictions. We're just trying to keep you safe, and you are the most vulnerable population, and very important to us. And we love you. We don't want to lose any of you. So stay safe. And that's all I have. Thank you, Boyd.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Buzzy. And Chuck, please pass on our thanks one more time to all the staff, because we really do appreciate what they're doing for us to keep us safe. So that's all, folks. Thank you again, Buzzy. Thank you, Chuck, and everyone out there.
Thank you, Boyd.
Stay safe and stay well. And we'll see you when we see you. Take care.
Thank you.